Welcome back to another video, you guys, and in today's video I wanted to show you all the strategy that I'll be using to quickly scalp at least $200 a day on all of my funded accounts. But before I do, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on my personal challenge on becoming a 7-figure funded day trader and this past week of trading. So this past week was NFP week, and I honestly haven't had the best luck when it comes to trading during NFP weeks. And this week was a little rough to say the least, but I made it out alive. I actually ended up blowing a few evaluations throughout the week, which was honestly pretty frustrating. It was really just, it wasn't too much of the analysis that was kind of making me lose trades. It was more of the psychology behind all the trades that I was in. I was very close to passing my next batch of evaluations, but I think the psychology aspect, me trying to pass all in one go, all in a day, those things kind of got to me, and I ended up holding for too long and watched my trailing drawdown kind of take me out of all of my evaluations. So that was a rough lesson learned. I blew quite a few, but I actually ended up passing another batch of 3 by the end of the week. This actually ended up happening after NFP news came out. There were some expansion moves that I was able to take advantage of and ended up passing in a day. So I wasn't sizing up like too crazy. I was just able to kind of trade that expansion move. I think it was a short. I was able to just kind of add trades, go in and out of that expansion move, and made most of my $3,000 profit target off of that move. So all in all, it was a decent week just because I was able to pass another batch of 3, but it was also a little frustrating that I had to blow multiple accounts to get there. But I think it kind of comes with the territory. I'm still learning how to work around these new Apex rules that I've never really worked with in the past. But I think I'm coming around to it. So the next steps will just be to get another batch of 3 and continue to work towards passing those and get closer to my target of 20 funded accounts. Biggest lesson learned here is do not trade with any urgency, no deadlines. I don't want to feel rushed, which is only going to be inviting more emotions into my trading, which is never going to end very well. So my next steps here will be to just take my time and try to pass these within a reasonable amount of time. I don't want to force a week or a day deadline on my trading to pass these, but that will be the next steps. Now, what I really wanted to show you guys in this video is a strategy that I've been testing on my evaluation accounts that will help me bring in my base hits of at least $200 to $300 a day. So this is a strategy that I will most likely be using across all of my copy traded funded accounts once I get all of them. And it's an ICT strategy that he taught his son Cameron. It's a strategy that is based on lower time frame entries. So for this one specifically, it'll be on the 30-second time frame, and it's essentially very similar to the 2022 model. So basically what that means is it's a higher time frame draw on liquidity, a lower time frame sweep of liquidity, and then the entry model on the 30-second time frame. I think it's a very powerful model, just like the 2022 model, but I think it just happens more often. And this is something that I've been looking for that will consistently happen throughout the day, multiple times, and has a very high win rate because you're not really forced to hold on to the trade for a very long time. The way ICT teaches his son is to set a very strict risk parameter as well as a very strict take profit parameter. So that's what kind of makes it very automatic and very consistent with wins, because I think his risk parameters were 12 points of risk to make 10 points of profit. So those targets hit very, very frequently, which is perfect for what I'm looking for when I'm trying to trade my funded accounts. Like I said, you're not going to be looking to hold these trades for the entire range, just like the other ICT strategies might kind of teach. But it's a very quick strategy. It's a very quick scalping strategy that I've been looking for that will allow me to lock in my profits very quickly and can help with that apex drawdown that I'm still trying to learn how to figure out. So that isn't to say that you have to take profit at that 10 points or whatever. You can still trade it to the next liquidity level, but I think going forward, at least for now, I'm going to stick with the model strictly, which is going to be the 10 points off of entry. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I'm going to show you guys what to look for and what that entry looks like. All right, so hopping onto the charts here, I've laid out the criteria for the ICT Suns model. And it's pretty similar to the 2022 model if you really think about it, right? It's looking for a drawn liquidity, whether it be a swing point or a fair value gap or whatever it is, on the higher time frames, right? And then you wait for that level to be swept. Then you drop down to the lower time frames, which in this case will be the 5 minute. And then you look for a lower time frame liquidity sweep, and then you wait for an entry off of a fair value gap. So just to dive into this, for this specific model, you want to be looking for an obvious 1 hour or even a 15-minute swing point or drawn liquidity, right? So it doesn't have to be at the very beginning. It can be kind of towards within the distribution leg. Basically, what is a very, very obvious point or level of liquidity that price is moving towards, right? You could even do it at the very tail end, right? As long as the entry model and the entry criteria shows itself, then you can still look for an entry there, right? So in this step, you're going to be looking for that 1 hour or 15-minute swing point or drawn liquidity. The next is, once you figure that out and you understand a very obvious drawn liquidity, you want to drop to the 5 minute and wait for a liquidity sweep. So for an example, let's say we are moving towards this sell side liquidity right here. Let's say this is your 1 hour or your 15-minute swing point, right? That is your sell side liquidity. You have price moving lower and lower, right? And let's say it's just consolidating all of a sudden, and then this is on the 5 minute time frame, by the way, and then you see this move happen right here to sweep all that liquidity right here. That's your 5 minute sweep of liquidity, and then wait for a 5 minute candle close in the opposite direction. So this is going to basically, this leg right here sweeps this 5 minute buy side liquidity and then closes back inside of that range as the opposite candle, meaning this is going to be a green candle, and then this is back to a red candle back into the range. And then you want to drop to the 30-second chart and look for a fair value gap entry with a set profit target at 10 points and risk at 10 points, right? 1-to-1. ICT, I think in his video, I think he uses a 12-point stop and a 10 points profit target. I played around with it. You can do that as well, but I typically just like to leave it as 1-to-1, or it really depends on the structure that's presented. If there is a swing high at around 12 points, or like a fair value gap high, then I'll put it at 12 points if needed. If I really think that price could potentially come up even further, then I will abide by that. If not, I will respect the structure. I'll leave it at 10 points if I really need to. I can make it even smaller risk if I feel like it's not going to reach that point, as well as the profit target. If it's close to a liquidity level and I have a good feeling that it's going to come down and take that out, I will extend that out of the 10-point range, maybe to whatever the 14, 15 points it is if it's really close. If not, I will probably stick with the 10 and just basically take my profits and get out of the market so that I don't risk anything further. But this is the model it happens consistently multiple times a day. You just gotta stick with the entry criteria here, and you'll be able to almost hit $200 with one contract pretty easily. So I think this is a great scalping strategy. It's pretty mechanical. The entry criteria is very strict. It's pretty like straight to the point. It's pretty difficult to kind of mess this up. The only thing that I would really focus on is the draw on liquidity. So trying to figure out which 1 hour or 15-minute draw on liquidity price is moving towards. But if you can make it as obvious as possible, and just look for those, this is a very, very high win rate strategy that I'm pretty excited to use going forward on my funded accounts. So that's the strategy, guys, the criteria. I am going to jump into some examples and show you guys what this actually looks like on the charts. All right, so here is the first example. Now, I just wanted to give you guys some context to this. This is kind of how I approach all my trades. There's always got to be some sort of higher time frame narrative that's created before I even look to take any trades, right? I'm not just blindly going in for entry patterns, and I go over this a lot in my other videos, so if you guys want to check that out, feel free. I think there's a lot of valuable information in them when it comes to understanding how important higher time frame narrative and analysis is before you even get into a trade or even look for a trade. So in this example, you have daily sell side that was taken out over the last week or last few days, right? And then you see this massive expansion back up to basically expand up and switch the narrative from bearish to bullish, right? So going into this day, I am still bullish because I want to see a much more expansion up to take out other forms of liquidity, whether it be internal or external, whatever the market wants to do. So going into this day, I've marked out the previous day low here, and keep in mind this is all in hindsight, but it works out perfectly well, and the analysis still holds, right? So I am still bullish. I have this change in state of delivery here to make it switch from bearish to bullish. So now I'm looking to see some sort of manipulation below to take out some liquidity and move back up. So that was kind of like the higher time frame stuff. I think it's very important, but it's a little more advanced than what I wanted it to go over for this video, but I just wanted to set the context there. So this is before the market opens, right? This is on the hourly. I marked out the previous day low because there are times where price will like to react from previous day lows and previous day highs. So those are good points to keep an eye on, right? So as we play this out, we see that the market opens and it comes down to sweep that previous day low, right? I'll hop onto the 5-minute here just so you can see it clearly. Now, previous day low is hit, it swept, and we see an immediate reaction back up to the upside, right? We do have this SIBI, this imbalance right here, that I would most likely keep an eye on. And we do react off of it a little bit, right? But because I am bullish, I want to be seeing all of these other swing points get taken. And if we can hop to the 15-minute, let me just back. Right, these are 15-minute swing highs, which these are relative equal highs on the 15-minute, and then this is the external range high on the 15-minute, right? So those are the points that we are looking for in terms of, is price moving towards them? And if it is, can we find a 30-second entry after we see a 5-minute liquidity sweep in the opposite direction, right? So those are the entry criteria once we have that higher time frame bias established, right? So going back to the 5-minute here, we're still looking, nothing's presenting itself yet. It's still kind of respecting this sell side inefficiency right here. Now we start to see on the 5-minute, we are starting to disrespect that SIBI right here, right? This bearish fair value gap. Now my bullish bias is actually looking a lot clearer, right? Things look like it wants to go back up. So Now we're still waiting for that 5-minute liquidity sweep, right? So no trades yet. And then boom, we sweep that liquidity right here on the 5-minute. It's small, it's to the tick, literally, right? So this low on this 5-minute candle is 68.25, and this low is 67.5. So a couple ticks, right? And we have an immediate reaction back up to the upside. There's still no trade yet because we want to wait for the next 5-minute candle to close green as well, right? So we see that right here. So once this candle closes is when we can start looking for a trade, an entry on the 30-second. You can even also aim for this higher up here and ultimately up here, right? So hopping on over to the 30-second chart, right? This is what that sweep looked like right here on the 30 seconds, right? You get that sweep here and you get an immediate reaction, right? But after that second candle close is when we can start looking for an entry. So that candle closed and the next candle started at 1040, which is right here. And what do we have here? A fair value gap created. And if you set an entry right there with a, let's just say a 10-point stop, because that's right at the bottom of this fair value gap candle, which I think is a perfect place to set your stop. And then let's just say for now 10 points profit right there, right? You get a little bit of drawdown. The most drawdown you get is about 3.5 points. Not that bad. Off one con, that's nothing, right? And then immediate reaction to take 10 points, right? So this happens within 30 seconds, minute, couple minutes. That's how fast this strategy works, you guys. This model is fantastic for scalpers. You can even hold it for that high to get an extra 2 points, right? It's nothing crazy, but if you can imagine copy trading this across 5, 10, 15, 20 accounts, that's an instant 10 to 12 point move with barely any drawdown, right? It's a very powerful move. It's obviously going to be suited for certain types of strategies or styles of traders. For me especially, because I am using Apex and I am trying to copy trade. I'm not looking for, like, if you could have held it, all the way up here, and you still would have hit your target, right? But you would have to face all this drawdown. So these are perfect. The 10 points are perfect. Immediate swing high is perfect. But there it is, you guys. That's the first example, and it's very clean, right? You wait for the 5-minute sweep, clean sweep. It doesn't have to be anything super dramatic, right? This is considered a sweep, although it's only a few ticks. Immediate reaction back to the upside with a candle close in the same direction towards your draw on liquidity, and then you drop down to the 30-second, find a fair value gap that is most likely going to be trading into. I mean, look at that 50% level got respected as well, right? So if you want, you could have taken an entry there and it would have been even faster. Like immediate, almost immediate, right? And you're risking even less. Maybe you could put it at the swing low right there. But like I said, you guys, very quick, high consistency, high win rate. It has everything. It's pretty mechanical too, right? Like if this candle, if it was a red candle, no trade, right? Because that to me doesn't show the true strength in bullish movement that I would want to see from a liquidity sweep of a previous day low or daily sell side. It would tell me that the market isn't ready to perform or to go and create that expansion move back to the upside at this point in time, right? So implementing this 5-minute liquidity sweep along with the candle close of the next candle is incredibly powerful, and I think it will keep me and some of you guys out of bad trades, right? Because it's another added criteria that has to be met before you look for an actual entry, right? So that is example one. Next, I'll show you actually within the same day another example, right? So we play this out, and we still have this target right here, right? Like, price wants to reach for these areas of liquidity. We play it out, hasn't reached that target yet. And look at that, we get another sweep, no trade yet until we see that, right? So we get another sweep of liquidity on the 5-minute time frame. Another swing low has been taken. Right there. We wait for the next 5-minute candle closed back into the range, up close candle if you're bullish. And so the next time you want to be looking for an entry is after this closes. So that'll be right here towards 11:30. 11:30 is when the next candle opens, and you immediately get a fair value gap here. Place an entry. You could put it there. That's that risk right there is 8.25. You can put it at the swing low, 10.25. That's doable. You can aim for that swing high right here, that buy side, and that's 10.75 points, and you immediately hit that, right? So that's just another example. It happens quickly, you guys. It moves quickly. 30-second chart is no joke. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of movement, but with the criteria set in this model, I think you cut out a lot of that, right? Just because of that 5-minute liquidity sweep, and the up close, or the candle close of the next candle is super, super important. And ICT actually mentions that himself in his video. He says that a lot of you guys that try to trade this model will most likely not implement that properly, and will kind of pass through and just kind of put that aside, that 5-minute candle close, and then you'll start to wonder why you're losing trades. But that's extremely important, because that's basically confirming the direction of the trade, and the direction of the price, or direction of where price wants to go, right? It's a confirmation of that. So that's incredibly important. And you can see how important it is within these two examples that I've shown, and how powerful this model is. So, all right, for the final example here, I'm starting on the hourly chart again, and what we have here is this swing point here on the hourly, which is actually the daily swing point. So this is actually daily buy side liquidity. So it's a very major swing point that you should keep an eye on. And what we have here is we're most likely going to take that out, right? We're very close. This is pre-market on Thursday, March 21st. Now jumping down to the 5-minute, let's just see what happens. As the market opens right here at 9:25. We come up to take it out, and then we react immediately down, right? So given that we just swept daily buy side liquidity, my bias is most likely going to be bearish, right? Because price wants to basically go from external to internal, right? So I think it's going to go down over the next few days to reprice and rebalance, right? That's how price likes to move. So what we have here is market open, massive down candle. I'm bearish on the day. Now, where is price trying to go to? So we have an hourly low right here, right? It's just a very basic hourly swing point. Nothing crazy. At this point, I'm thinking eventually price is gonna wanna come down to at least rebalance some of these inefficiencies down here, right? It's not gonna happen in a day, but I'm thinking that's going to happen. So that's why I'm still bearish, right? But for now, I can use this hourly swing low as a target, right? So letting price work out, right? We see massive moves downwards. There's still no real trade. And typically, guys, like I like to wait for the market to kind of do its thing in the morning. I'm not immediately jumping in, even if I like this could be a setup, but you know, it's pretty volatile in the mornings like this. So I kind of want to wait to see what happens. Just letting the market play out, and we get a sweep on the 5-minute right here. So next we want to see a down close candle in the direction of our drawn liquidity, which we get right here. So at this point, now we can drop down to the 30-second time frame and look for a fair value gap entry. So doing that right here, we get this. So this was that liquidity sweep, right? This was that 5-minute candle. We come up and then we just kind of just rip back down, right, with this displacement. Now we have this massive fair value gap that we can trade off of and find an entry, right? So typically when I see these massive fair value gaps, I like to use the 50% as an entry point versus setting up something here. If you set it up here, you would have gone stopped out with a 10-point stop loss. So I don't like playing these massive fair value gaps right off of the bottom. I like to make sure that I get to at least 50%. And when you do that, 10-point stop or 10-point profit, let's just say around there. That's basically an immediate reaction to hit your profit target, right? You do a 10-point stop here, 10.5, 10, doesn't matter. Comes down and basically you sweeps this low right here and reacts back up to eventually fall down again and do its thing, right? So very, very consistent model, very strict criteria that needs to be met before you even think about entering. It has a high win rate, you guys. It's something that I believe I can use consistently every day and find multiple entries and take my base hits and, you know, get into the market and get out as quickly as possible, right? This took a minute, 2 minutes, right? It's very quick, and I honestly think it's got one of the highest win rates that I've seen in any strategy. And it's really just because it's a very quick trading methodology, and you're on the 30-second time frame, right? Like price moves very quickly on a 30-second chart. And when you're only looking for 10 to 12 points, 10 to 15 points, that can happen very quickly given the time frame. So there you have it, you guys. That is the strategy that I'm going to be using. It is ICT's Sun's model is what they call it. It's just based off of the 30-second entry with liquidity sweeps and higher time frame draw on liquidity. And it's very similar to, you know, most of his other strategies. It's got the same concepts foundationally. You're just dropping down to a very, very small or low time frame to find your entries for very quick moves. It's perfect for scalpers. It's perfect for Apex. It's perfect for what I'm trying to do with this 7-figure funded personal challenge. And it's got a very high win rate, you guys. It's very consistent. You can find it multiple times a day, like I've always mentioned. And it's something that I've been back testing and forward testing throughout my evaluation with Apex and have seen very, very good results. So it's something that I'm going to be testing even more with the next batches that I'm going to be pursuing with Apex. And I'm fairly confident that it's going to be pretty successful. But that's it for today, you guys. If you guys like the video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Let me know how this goes for you guys. Go ahead and back test it and leave me a comment, with any questions you have or some of your results. I love to see how you guys are doing with this model as well. I think it's a banger. I think you guys will find a lot of success with it as well. But yeah, the goal is still the same. I'm going to be looking to get another batch of 3 evals and pass those in a reasonable amount of time. Not going to try to set a deadline or urgently pass these like I did this last week. So hopefully things go a little bit smoother and I don't have to blow some accounts to make, or to pass these 3. Just to let you guys know though, the 80% discount promotion with Apex along with the 1-day pass has actually been extended to the end of April. So make sure to go ahead and grab some of those. They're very cheap. 80% off is a phenomenal deal. I think it's like $37 for the 50K accounts, and I think those are the best accounts to get because the drawdown to profit target ratio is the best out of all the accounts in my opinion. So make sure and go ahead and use the discount code in the description or the discount code that I'll have above up here to get your 80% off or just the best deal whenever it is. So yeah, make sure to use that discount code, grab some evals, and get funded with Apex. I think they're a phenomenal prop firm. I think one of the best, to be honest, after just working with them and getting these accounts passed. They're making it possible for people like me and you to become, potentially 7-figure funded day traders, right? So check them out, use that discount code, and go ahead and get started. I think there's no better time than now. 80% off is a phenomenal deal, and they're a great company. But till next time, you guys, good luck with your trading. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you again next time.